Okay, it's Wednesday, March 22nd. This is end of the day SPY recap, and today we end up with a red reversal looking day, an outside bar, a 3 bar. It took out the high of the previous day and the low of the previous day, and this should be the start of the resumption of the downtrend, the way I see it, now that we have some clarity after the Fed announcement. First of all, just looking at the bigger picture before we get to just the volatility today, you can see here the weekly chart now with 2 days to go. We try to go up and get that reversal signal to reach our potential magnitude up here, but now we had a big failure looking bar. I know there are 2 days to go, but it's kind of hard to believe after this day that should get a little follow through lower tomorrow, that we're going to reverse up by Thursday and Friday and turn this bar into any kind of a bar that looks like it wants to continue higher, kind of in a compound fashion up towards that high. If anything, it looks like this is going to end up more of a shooter bar, especially if we go down tomorrow. But even if we kind of hold in here, which would then lead to a 2-down week, which should then project down there. And on the monthly chart, we've now turned the monthly chart back to red. And in general, what's been happening on the monthly chart, again, if you really look back over like 6-7 months, we're just inside. I mean, just going choppiness sideways overall. We're trying to figure things out. And what happened most recently after these 4 bars here, we tried to break out to the upside, which failed. We had the 2 down. So that's why we've been still kind of always focused on getting to the bottom, at least at the bottom of this range at this point. Whether we break through it or not, you'll never know until we actually do or don't, because we're in this tight, trading area for a long time. But given the failure to break to the upside in the 2 down month, you kind of expected us to be testing the low end. So that's sort of the scenario in play now as we come to, a week and a half to go. And we'll see if this month now can really continue lower and take out those targets down there. And again, the weekly chart, that's going to have to start here by kind of having a failure looking week that continues down into next week. So we'll see in the next couple of days. But in terms of today, what you had here, let's just get to it without getting into too much detail. I mean, the way I interpreted the whole day, and I put some key levels here just to show you, the pre-market range was what it was between the blue lines. If you've ever looked at and this was Fed day, so you knew it was going to be likely, uncertain until the Fed announcement came all day. So what you had here right out of the gates, you had kind of 3 little bars that just paused, and then you had the up move. So once you got that buy signal in here, what all it did was it just took out the stops. And if this whole price action doesn't kind of prove that the algorithms are in charge of the market day to day, then I don't know what else does. I mean, basically you come up here, you take out those stops, and then that's it. And then, so even if you got in here at long, you wanted to see that either fail or continue, it obviously fails, you break even on that, assuming you were even trading. Then if it comes down all day long, what does it do? It takes out the low of the day. That's all it did. And I think it probably took out the pre-market lows, if I'm not mistaken, right here. So that came down and took out the stops. Then it starts heading up into the Fed announcement. Now when the Fed announcement comes, what does it do? It moves all the way up first to this yellow line. I talked about that yellow line on the let me get to that 4-hour chart I was talking about. It's also on the daily chart. Let me just click on it here. This was the line here where I said if we head up a little bit, our targets were kind of these 2 highs right here. So what does it do? It takes out the stops over there, and then it comes down a little bit. It pauses. On this bar, it actually started lower all the way down. What did it do? It took out the stops down there. So it's taking out stops up here, taking out stops down there. Then it goes all the way up again. And this thing, though, was a 3-bar. When you're looking at this big reversal, it's really just a 3-bar. It's a big broadening action. So all you do then is you take out the stops once again that were put in place, and then you finally, at this point, got the 2 down reversal, the failure on the 2 up reversal that looked like it was going to continue lower. So to me, this bar here really didn't signify the uptrend would be strong because it was a 3-bar. But then when you couldn't continue up there, you took out stops and you got this. This was the sign to me you were heading lower, quite frankly. And then once you came back to the midway point of that yesterday and below the, this low one more time, I was projecting down here to this yellow line, which was kind of the outside bar. You were going to kind of take out the highs of the previous day, the low of the previous day. And obviously at that point, then it took that out, paused a little bit, and then closed really low to likely have followed through lower tomorrow. And like I said, all the big picture scenarios now point to the downside. at least to end this week, and then continue lower into next week and continue lower for the rest of the month. So until that changes, we'll see, that's what we're going to play. But there should be a lot of good shorting opportunities now. That should be a little clearer as the rest of this week and into next week moves on.